Hello, my name is Morgan on the violin. I'm here today to talk to you about the Cremona SV-75, give you a little review of it, as well as talk about why you should not spend less than $200 on a beginner violin. So this instrument is $140 for violin, bow, and case. You can typically find these on Amazon. They can seem like a very appealing and tempting option, especially if you're trying to get yourself or your student, your kid into the violin on a budget. However, they are definitely going to end up being a waste of your money and cost you money down the line. And why is that? One of the biggest reasons why is this right here. These instruments tend to struggle with staying in tune. So this particular instrument used to belong to a student of mine, and she lost many weeks of practice because she would tune the instrument and then it would just go right back out of tune the next day. And she couldn't be bothered. She couldn't actually physically tune the instrument herself. She'd have to get her sister or her dad to help her, and it just wouldn't get tuned again, and so she wouldn't practice. And yeah, so that right there is reason number one, and should be reason enough to not purchase one of these instruments. I've seen this happen with a couple of students. She was one. I had another one where I ended up having to tell them, go ahead and buy a nicer instrument after they'd already spent the money on this. They ended up having to buy another instrument. Another thing you can look forward to with these instruments, you can see here a photo of the fingerboard off the SV-75, and then we'll see a photo of the fingerboard off of a bundle pupil. So the SV-75 fingerboard is more of the idea of a fingerboard without really being a good quality fingerboard, and that's going to create problems for playability, especially as they start to get a little better at the instrument. Whereas the bundle pupil, any instrument that you're going to spend at least $200 on is going to come with a respectable fingerboard, something that can actually serve as a fingerboard and will be useful in the learning process. Another problem these things can be faced with are poorly placed sound posts or bridges. So you see here again the SV-75 compared to the bundle pupil. The SV-75 sound post is way out of line from where it's supposed to be. And that's going to affect the sound quality, and again, it's going to affect the enjoyability of you or your child playing the instrument as they're trying to learn it. So these are just all things that you can avoid simply by spending a little bit more on your instrument. How much should you spend? Well, $200 is kind of the baseline. If you're talking about a brand new beginner and they're still working the fractional instruments, then I would encourage you to spend in the $200 to $300 range, unless you're getting something used. If you are buying for an older student, like somebody who's a teenager or an adult who's going to be already purchasing straight into a full-size instrument, it'd be worthwhile to go ahead and spend $300 to $500 instead. Spending more will be beneficial for you. Because the instruments, you're not going to ever have a reason to upgrade the instrument as they're learning and growing, so just go ahead and buy something that's going to serve them a little longer. Where should you shop for instruments, if not Amazon? Definitely not Amazon. I really would not recommend Amazon as a place to buy an instrument like this. What I would recommend is purchasing from Bundle. I've mentioned I wouldn't recommend them actually, and technically they're not my preferred, but they're suitable instruments. I have students who use them. They're perfectly fine. They work just lovely for their price. Another option would be Shar Music. That's the shop that I would personally recommend and tend to refer my students to. They have a pretty good lineup in their Franz Hoffman line that are very reasonably priced and all suitable instruments. I've seen all of them play it on most of them, both for violin and viola, and they do just fine. They also have a clearance section that I think right now has just been cleared out because every now and again they do sales on it. But you can usually get a used instrument there for even cheaper, and that's when it would be okay to spend less than $200 if you're buying used. So that's another option. And then lastly, another shop is Fiddlershop is quite popular. I've never used one of their instruments personally, but they're out there, and they're suitable. They have instruments in these price ranges. All right. Well, I hope you found this video helpful. Again, don't do it. Don't spend less than $200. Definitely don't buy something like a Cremona. Don't buy Cremona, period. Just don't buy a Cremona. They're not worth it. You can get better quality elsewhere for about the same price or a little more, but it's well spent a little more. save you money down the line kind of a little more. Yeah, so if you found value in this video, please hit like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Thank you. Have a good day.